Hey guys, it's shame busting coach Jen Bovey from www.jenbovey.com, and I want to talk to you about what happens when we become blindsided by shame. So I have a couple of experiences to draw from this week, which is really kind of ironic because I typically am able to navigate around shame triggers, and I typically am really cognizant of how these things affect me. But the first one was last Saturday. So my husband and I did some shopping. We bought a bench for the bottom of our bed for the dog. It's totally for me, but whatever. And it was like $200, which wasn't extraordinary. It might have only been $180. I don't know, whatever. The price doesn't matter. What matters is, as we were leaving the store, we had gone to 3 stores, and I was feeling financially a little stressed, but I was really enjoying shopping, just shopping for shopping's sake. And my husband said to me, wow, we blew through X amount of dollars today. And in that moment, I felt so much shame. And I must have apologized to him like 5 times. And I said, I'm so sorry I spent so much of your money today. I don't even know like where it all went, but I'll figure it out and I'll return what we don't need. If you knew my husband at all, you would know that was probably not the best thing to say to him. So we've gotten candy for the kids' Easter baskets, and I'm looking at the candy and I'm figuring out which ones I can use to fill up the Easter basket that'll be less of a financial imposition so that I can return the most and get the most money back, right? Because it's how my brain works. And I looked over and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's got a pair of scissors in his hand. And literally, because I had bought too much candy, he was opening every bag of candy. And I'm like, why would you do that even? And he's like, because now there's no way you can return it. So you have to deal with your whole shame issue over there. And I'm going to go have a good rest of my day. And I was just like, I can't even believe you would just open all of those bags of candy just so that I can't return them. That is just out of control. And he was like, you enjoyed buying them. You'll enjoy giving it to the kids. Let it go. Nothing else matters in this moment. And I'm like, well, but I know, but still, I have shame now because I spent a bunch of your money. And he looked at me, he's like, but I don't understand why you have shame. I didn't give you the shame. I didn't ask you to feel shameful. I didn't even say anything negative about you spending money. And then that moment it occurred to me that where the shame was really coming from was only one place. It was coming from within me. Because I have this misconception that I need to be able to pay for my own way in life. And I need to be able to provide for myself in life. And I need to be able to take care of myself. And I need to not have to ask for help. Does any of this sound familiar to you guys? I know where all of this comes from, but I was not prepared for this to even show up in my life. I kind of blame my friend Robin, honestly, just kidding. But I've really been working on my money stuff, and as I work on my money stuff, some of this stuff is bound to come up, right? So I was going along the rest of my week. I was kind of checking in with that shame and just saying, where are you at? Have you healed yet? Have you resolved yet? But I wasn't really getting, into it. I wasn't living in it. I hadn't dived full board into it. And then today, as I was sitting at my desk in the middle of a client session, I looked over at my phone because something was distracting me in my peripheral. And I'd gotten a text about a situation that I had totally been avoiding. 100% avoiding. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't really talk about it. I didn't really explain it to people close to me in my life. Maybe 3 out of 5 friends really knew what was going on, and they would ask occasionally if I knew anything, and my answer was always like, no, I don't know anything. So today when everything came out, I felt so full of shame. I have not done anything wrong. And yet, again, I was willing to absorb the shame of other people's actions and misbehaviors and inactions, and I was willing to take it on as my own. And I was willing to act as if I owned that shame, and I was willing to act as if that meant I had to go back to sitting in the middle of the road where all my mail was forwarded, where I was the world's biggest piece of poop, where I couldn't actually do anything with my life, where I couldn't actually take any action, where I was just left in that frozen, trauma-filled world that I've been in for so long. And then my husband came in my office and he's like, I just want to check on you and see if you're okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, really? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I've moved beyond it now. And 2 seconds later, I was in tears again. And so I really took this afternoon, I really looked at me, and I really looked at what my part is, and I really looked at the fact of the matter is my feelings are hurt because of this text. And I'm sad and I'm disappointed for the choices that other people are making. But those choices are not about me as a person. Those choices don't determine my worth or my value. Those choices don't have anything to do with me at all. So I think it's really crucial for us all to check in when we're experiencing those shame-filled moments and say, first of all, is this shame even mine? Because if it's not mine, I'm not willing to do the work necessary to clear it or heal it or whatever it. And if it's a money stress or a money shame point, talk to someone who really is skilled in that area. I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and tell you my friend Robin knows money mindset stuff like nobody I've ever met, hands down. So if you want help making more money, changing your views about money, check out Robin Badler because she knows her stuff. If you want to deal with the shame that is blocking you from accomplishing your goals in life, let's get on it. Let's move. I am not okay sitting in the middle of the road long term and having my mail forwarded there and not being able to move and just staying stuck there. I don't do frozen as well as I used to. I'm sure you guys are familiar with fight, flight, or freeze, right? Those are our trauma responses. And many of us that, depending on the severity and the techniques of our traumas, got stuck and frozen for so long we just couldn't take action. And that's where that old sitting in the middle of the road becomes really comfortable for me because I do frozen. That was my go-to. I'll freeze. I'm out. I'll just sit here. I won't even talk. I won't acknowledge you. You don't even exist in my world because I'm just going to sit right here and just not even acknowledge you. That doesn't work for me anymore. Robin says, I think taking on shame for other people's actions is something we're taught as a society. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. If you grow up in a drunk or abusive family, that bullshit is ingrained in you. If you survive a trauma, you will get everybody's opinions about how you should overcome that trauma or how you should interact with that source of that trauma. If you live with a chronic illness, oh my God, God forbid, you live with a chronic illness and you actually talk about it. Because what happens is it makes people uncomfortable, and it makes them uncomfortable because they don't have the answers. And when people don't have the answers, they look to blame somebody. So when you're living with a chronic illness and they can't find a definitive answer, they're gonna blame you. I don't take that shit personally anymore. I don't have time for that. You can sit in front of me and you can tell me it's all my fault that I'm sick. Okay. You can tell me it's all my fault. You can tell me I'm not spiritual enough. You can tell me I'm not humble enough. You can tell me I'm not loving enough. You can tell me I'm not willing enough. You can tell me I'm not motivated enough. Okay. Bring it. Because I know that those things aren't facts for me. And I also know that it doesn't make it my reality. Robin says, do you think it makes them uncomfortable because it becomes real too? Yes. I posted something on my personal Facebook page this week about what happens, and Brene Brown talks about this a little bit, tiny bit in her research. And she talks about when we really work to distance ourselves from shameful things, right? We want to make it about them, and we don't want to be one of them. We want to be an us, because when we're an us, we can be insulated and protected from those shameful, shitty things that happen in life, and we can sit up here and we can look down on them, and we can be like, that really sucks for them. They should have made better choices. Really? No. Us versus them doesn't make sense. So do I think it makes them uncomfortable because it becomes real? Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. I think that part of what happens is we work, when we live with any amount of shame, we either insulate ourselves or we isolate ourselves. And some of us do both. And the way that we insulate ourselves is making ourselves protected from those real life experiences that other people have. Other people in their lives are living as a result of abuse. Other people in their lives are living with chronic illnesses. Other people in their lives are living with family members who have done horrible things. Other people in their lives are living in poverty. Other people in their lives are living in the heights and in the throes of addiction. It doesn't make them shitty people. It makes them sick people. It makes them having made some bad decisions even maybe. But ultimately, I think that they were doing the best that they could with what they had. And so if my life makes you uncomfortable to watch, there's the door. If my success makes you uncomfortable to watch, pull up a chair. Let's talk about it. If my conversations make you uncomfortable to watch, you're welcome. Bottom line, you are welcome. I'm not going to stop no matter what life throws at me. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep talking about real shit. I'm going to keep being honest. I'm going to keep being transparent because that's who I am as a person. So you can get uncomfortable. You can click the unlike. You can click the unfriend. You can do what you need to do. But I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be talking about all these tough topics. I'm going to be talking about things that people don't want to hear about because that's what we need to do to heal and to move through it and to grow and to change and evolve. And I'm in this for the long haul. I am in this for the long journey. If you want to be a part of this, let's do it. Lynette says, I always say, no such thing as perfect. We are all human. We are all human. And I think that need or that desire to be perfect, it stems from a very shame-based place. It stems from that fear of not being good enough. And so I got to work my butt off at pretending or achieving or making you think that I'm perfect, or even making myself think I'm perfect. Because if I'm not perfect, then what does that mean about me as a person? It means I'm human, actually. But I was absolutely paralyzed and chained down by the weight of that attempt at perfectionism for so long, and it never paid off. It was never helpful. It was never freeing. It was never fulfilling. And that's what I want for all of you. I want you to live freeing and fulfilling and happy and joyful and graceful lives. But that doesn't mean bad shit's not going to happen in your life. It doesn't mean everything's going to be unicorns and fairies and dancing and roses and rainbows. No, sometimes there's going to be a storm. Sometimes you're going to feel gutted. And that's okay, because part of shame resiliency is coming through that other side. It's going to that core people that support you, that love you, that will lift you up unconditionally, that will say, this doesn't make sense. Why is this your response? And then it's about coming back out on the other side of it. That's what I want for you. That's what I'm doing for me. Let me know below if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Bye.